Hello, welcome back to another video. This is my Ducati 916 in my house. It's been here since I bought it about 18 months ago. And a little bit different with this video. I'm going to try and document and kind of vlog, I suppose, the rejuvenation of this bike. It's, as you can see, it's fairly up together. It's not done a lot, 13,800 kilometers, so about 8,500 miles. It's 1997. The fuel was disgusting in the tank. The tax disc says 2010, I think. So it's not been on the road for 15 years or run potentially for 15 years. So it needs a little bit of a resurrection and bringing back to life. So that's the plan. But a bit of a backstory really on the bike is from a young age of, and I think any motorcycle enthusiast who was around when this bike was launched, I would have been around 10. This was the top trump bike for me when we went any journey in the car. I quite vividly remember we had a Ford Sierra, and if I couldn't sit in the front seat, I'd be sat behind the driver. So I had optimum view of oncoming traffic and any passing traffic, looking and listening for one of these Ducati 916s. So it's been a goal I've had in life, is to one day own one of these. So I hope you enjoy this short journey. Hopefully it's short, there's not too many problems, but this is, as I say, a bit different than anything I've done before. I'm going to be doing it myself, building and editing, so bear with me. Let me know your thoughts on how it is, and I have got some other bikes that maybe could do something similar with for a later series if this goes well. But I'm quite excited about this one. I've been looking forward to it for a while. Now the sun's shining, I feel it's time to get her back into life and get out on the road and enjoy it. So let's crack on. I'm going to drag this out a bit later on today. Well, actually, I'm going to do it here in the house, strip back and do the belts in here because the wife's out at the moment. And I think if I just start before she gets back, then yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. So let's have a look and see how we go. So I started off with removing the bodywork. This is the side panel, which is four Zeus fasteners across the top and 2 on the bottom, and that is it. Super easy and quick, which is kind of the absolute opposite to modern sports bikes, have so many silly fasteners and clips, etc. This was easy to remove and put away safely in the house, away from any danger of being damaged by the kids. Then pop the seat unit up, which is turn the key, lift the rear of the seat unit up. There are some pins I had to remove, which are just rubber capped. Unplugged the brake light switch, which is nicely mounted here. Again, super simple compared to the modern bikes that we see now. And then on to removing the tank, which is just a 5 grinding key bolt at the back, and a locator pin at the front, which sits in like a rubber mount. So literally 1 bolt and tank is off, revealing the airbox. I was sort of learning as I go here. This is obviously in fast forward. I cannot work that fast, unfortunately. But the airbox is held on with 6 6-9 headed bolts, 2 at the back, 2 in the middle and 2 at the front. These middle ones were a little bit fiddly, just to not snag that rubber seal that seals the airbox to the bottom of the fuel tank. Once those are removed, I had to undo these clips which hold in the air ducts, which also then carry the air filters in either side here, the air ducts which carry the air from the front fairing down into the airbox. And once those clips were removed, the airbox simply just lifted out, and I had to remove the rubber pipe, which was the crankcase breather. Then it was on to removing the battery. This had actually written on the side of the battery, I didn't show it in the video, March 09, so good for the bin, this thing. It definitely wasn't going to be going back on the bike, but again, really simple to remove. Just 1 bolt there on the top, obviously undo the terminals, and the trickle charger that was fitted is removed temporarily. I'll probably be refitting that when I replace the battery. Then I needed to remove the battery tray itself, which not only held the battery, there were some relays on the left-hand side, the regulator and rectifier underneath, and a starter solenoid there on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side. But this was all necessary to clear out the way and make space to get these belts changed over. Now I just wanted to move some of these cables out of the way, so removing these rubber straps, which is actually quite nice to see rather than zip ties. But also during this process I was inspecting all the connections, terminals and wiring, just to make sure there's no damage or anything that's going to cause me a problem further down the road. Again, I've sped this up here just to get through this bit. It's not particularly exciting, but I was quite keen to get these covers off and inspect and see what sort of state the belts were in, which as you'll see in a moment, they didn't actually look too bad to me, but for sure was not worth the risk in trying to run the bike without knowing. That would be quite a bad move. So now I've removed the spark plug at the rear cylinder to reduce the compression and put the bike into 6th gear so I could rotate the engine round. There is a engine rotation tool which I didn't have, but that did the job to allow me to time up the markers. You can see the 2 yellow dots there at the top of the rear cylinder cams, and the front cylinder, the markers were facing away from each other, and then there was another dot actually on the crank, but that with all the timing in place, I removed firstly the front belt, which came off first. It didn't actually look too bad. A lot better than I expected, to be honest, but certainly was not worth the risk in running the bike, not knowing whether and what state the belts were in. So new genuine Ducati belts. I didn't really want to risk. I thought if I'm doing it, might as well do it all properly. And they're a little fiddly. That rear cylinder, the front cam on the rear cylinder is under tension here, so it was a little bit tricky to get it. There is a tool to lock it in place, which I didn't have, but managed to get there in the end, and all tensioned up and torqued up the pulley locking bolts. I actually used, I felt I'd got the belt tension pretty good, and I also then used an app on my phone to measure the frequency, and I think it was 110 hertz. Once all back together, belt wise, it was the covers back on, and my kind of excitement was building here, I think, just to because I knew we were getting closer to that start button and firing this bike back into life. Quite an important one here is the fly lead or earth ground lead down from the chassis down to the regulator rectifier. Possibly an easy one to forget. You'll also notice there behind hanging is the starter motor supply, which I removed because it was a little bit rusty. I just wanted to clean the terminal up there before I refitted it and make sure there was no bad connection. And then on to removing the rest of the bodywork. My plan is to get some original black mirrors for the bike and also the screen to get the bike just as original and as it came out the shop or showroom when it was new. I just think it looks nicer with a clear original screen and the black mirrors, just so it matches the kind of poster bike that I once dreamt of. Then once all these bits were removed, it with a little help from my son Arthur, it was outside for a good clean-up. As you can see, the bike's not too molested. Everything's original and as it was from new, to my knowledge. But it's gathered a little bit of dust where it's been sat in the house for a period of time. Quite a bit of spider mess here and there, but I just wanted to give it all a good clean off before I start reassembling, and it was in this state. I just wanted to give it a good scrub and get it all looking nice and as good as I could. It does, to be honest, I could benefit from removing the exhaust and giving it kind of a good strip wash, but I'm not going to lie, I was quite excited here just to get the thing running and get out for MOT and a ride out. So it was a brief wash here and used muck off bike cleaner. You can see the old tax list there, actually 09-2010. That's the only real information I had of when it was last used. I haven't been able to get in touch with the previous owner yet, but I didn't want to use the jet wash here. It was just soap and brush and then a rinse off with the hose. Jet washes are great, but environment, I didn't want to be blowing any stickers off or also blowing any paint off the casings. It's actually in really good condition, this bike, for considering it's 28 years old. It's pretty good. And overall, they're quite prone to corroding and sort of paint lifting off the casings and things, which I just didn't want to encourage anything of that using the jet wash. And then the old leaf blower out just to blow off the excess water. Normally after I wash my bike, so I'd like to run the engine and generate some heat to evaporate the water, but as this wasn't running at this point, it's a case of using the leaf blower to clear her off, and then a bit of a shine up with some knock off silicone spray and a rag. She's looking pretty nice now, and really quite pleased with everything and the way it's gone and how she's looking. So fingers crossed she starts. Next up was to get the fuel tank all back together. Not long after buying the bike, I'd stripped all this out and replaced everything on the fuel pump plate, which was new pump, new filter, new lines, and even new clips. It'd been in there, I'm guessing, for the 15 years it hadn't been used. It's been sat in this old fuel, which just rotted everything. The inside of the tank was actually pretty good and clean, to be honest. I flushed it out, but it looked quite nice in there. I got away with that, but you can see the state of the fuel lines here, where the fuel had literally just melted it, and also the rust on that clip there. It was just, none of it was in a good way. So a good few hours went into bringing that back to life with some new fuel lines and clips. And then it was a case of getting it all back inside the tank. This was quite a fiddly job, to be honest. Took my time, lubricated the O-ring that seals that plate there to the bottom of the tank with a little bit of grease, and eased her back in, put it all back as I found it. That's the problem with, it was over a year since I stripped that fuel pump, so that's a problem when you leave gaps between stripping something and putting it back together. It can become a bit of an issue, so I had to analyse a few photos just to make sure I had it all right. There she is, ready to go back on the bike. Then it was a case of screwing this airbox, or the airbox plate or lower base back down. 6 bolts. Again, being careful of those rubber seals that just form that seal between the airbox plate, I would call it, and the bottom of the fuel tank. One thing I did mess up here was I screwed everything back down. I screwed the tank back down and then realised I had to remove it again to put the air filter ducts back in, because you have to be able to access into the tank to clip those in. So small lesson learned, but certainly here excitement growing because we're getting closer to hitting that start button and hopefully firing her back into life. This was a little bit fiddly connecting these fuel lines up because there's not a lot of length on them, and I put a bit of rag there just on the frame because I really didn't want to mark the tank unnecessarily. So and also wanted to be really careful with these fuel connectors because they're getting on nearly 30 years old and a little bit brittle. I'd sort of pre-greased the O-rings a little bit, but you'll hear them just snap in nicely in a minute and clip in. I kind of tried to do it delicately but firmly at the same time, so it all seemed to go quite well, to be honest. So this is moment of truth now, and I think you can see the sort of concern and thought process in my face there is you can hear the fuel pump buzzing, and it just didn't quite sound to me like it was drawing fuel through. It sounded dry. So I thought I'd try anyway. Kind of as I expected, we had nothing. It's quite frustrating, but again, always the case when you've had something in bits and you don't know quite the past history of it, where we're at and what the problem was. But I had aspirations of it firing up straight away, which just would have been too good to be true, wouldn't it? So dead battery. I've actually been using the lithium battery off my enduro bike here, which are incredible for the size and weight of them. That it was cranking this motor over and over was pretty impressive. But put the jump pack on. I've also put the bike on a main stand, so it's upright. I was kind of thinking that because the bike was on its side, the fuel pump didn't have enough fuel around it, although it had 2 litres in, and we're still with nothing. Quite frustrating, but did not give up hope. So recharge the jump pack for round 2. The fuel pump now was making more of a primed noise, so I was had a slightly higher expectation and anticipation, but I'd left it a couple of hours while the jump pack charged, and in that time I'd removed the key and lost it. So you'll see me now slightly confused, looking for the set of keys. Right, not really what I anticipated or hoped for, but can't say I didn't expect it a little bit to not quite work out or go to plan. So I'm going to troubleshoot and go through everything, make sure I know the bike's sparking. I've checked that. So anyway, I'm going to end it here. Please let me know what you think of this video. A bit of feedback in the comments, and try and make the next one better. I've already got some plans for what's coming in the next 2 to 3 episodes of this, but summer's coming, so I'm keen to get this bike done running and get out and ride it and enjoy it. So check back soon. Make sure you subscribe following to see the next one, which will be soon. I've got a few things going on, but we'll make this happen and get this little mini series out, tested, tried, and hope you enjoy it. See you soon. Thanks.